supporting India's real imperatives on the ground, it's important also to showcase what are the success stories, to encourage newer people to come into this field. Otherwise, you'll end up having 1 or 2, 4 stories of people who may not have succeeded in the first instance, becoming a dampener for others. So it's equally important to showcase the success stories. I have urged Startup India, in fact I would urge you from the private sector also, and friends from the media, that we must also continuously encourage those who may not have succeeded in the first instance. Because it's not necessary that you have to hit it right first time around. But failure is not something bad, it's not a stigma. It's only the old cliche, it's only a stepping stone to success. For the young ones in the room, I can say that Abraham Lincoln had failed in everything he did in his life. Everything. At a young age, he was a bad student. He always failed. Bought a shop, I think it was a pharmacy if I'm not mistaken, and somebody can chat GPT or perpetuity and find out. But I think it was a pharmacy that he bought with the loan and all, so he failed in running it, therefore he failed to repay that loan. As I remember it, I could be a little off the mark, a little bit here and there. He did his law, probably failed in his law practice, fought some elections at different levels, local levels and all, but he lost them all, and the only one election he won made him the President of the United States of America. That's, I think, how one should look at failure. Persevere, keep going, and I have no doubt in my mind that there's a plethora of opportunities awaiting all of you. Affordable, scalable Medtech products will certainly help us at scale to reach the remotest parts of India. 1.4 billion people gives you the opportunity to plan things at scale. And what I saw, most people had their CDSO approvals, some were on the verge of getting FDA approvals. That should help you not only look at India as a market, but go beyond. And we in the Commerce Ministry will be taking a lot of delegations, supporting a lot of delegations to go across the world and showcase your wares. And we should know our market. I mean, it may not necessarily make great sense, while I don't think that it's not an option, but probably taking this to all the 54 countries in Africa, all the countries in Latin America, Central Asia, Southeast Asia. We have at least 100 countries which could possibly benefit from this along with India. And the more scale we can take it up to, the greater will be the cost benefit. We'll be able to make these instruments at very low prices, affordable prices. We can continuously innovate to improve the quality. So I think the fact that we are opening up developed markets through these FTAs that we have entered into, the 9 that we have done in the last 3 years, covered 38 countries with good, rich per capita incomes. If you can get a good company to collaborate with you there, and nobody better than Pfizer, who may be present maybe in more than 100 countries. If Pfizer becomes your marketing partner or your supporter or endorses your product, you can actually in the developed world also, for different reasons. There it may not be a social stigma as much as the 3-month wait, or I don't know how long wait to get a doctor's appointment. Sorry. Just to get a doctor's appointment may take you months altogether. So there, for different reasons, you may actually be able to get a phenomenal price for your product. And therefore, please persevere, please continue this. We have a very good medical devices park running near Vishakhapatnam. They also have workspaces, and they also have a program to support startups. ALMT, you're from there? AMTZ, okay. Jitendra Sharma. I would love to actually have another AMTZ type setup come up. We had thought of Himachal Pradesh. I had sent him over there, but the government changed and the new government didn't take interest. Think about some location, maybe in Rajasthan or UP or somewhere. I think North India could also do with an AMTZ type location. Or in all our NICDIC projects, maybe we can have a 50-acre or some 100-acre reserved for medical products or medical devices. And within that, we could also look at preparing co-working spaces for startups. Have an Atal tinkering lab in the schools around where we have our NICDIC industrial parks. So look at all of the government approach to see how we can all come together and make opportunities available for for all our innovators, let's say. Falguni Nair started as a startup at the age of 50, so I should withdraw my word young. And nowadays, in any case, we have people who call themselves young young leaders in politics after 30 years also. But of course, not all startups succeed in life. Many of them fail continuously, fail repeatedly. In politics, I was saying. Otherwise, you can succeed. So all the very best. We have to make India a reliable, trusted partner of the world. And I have no doubt in my mind that our Indian startups, the 200,000 plus startups registered with us, there may be many more not yet registered, will do us proud. We already have three more NIPERs coming up, National Institute of Pharma Education and Research, as we upgrade the 7 NIPERs that we already have. Another National Institute of Design is going to be set up somewhere in East India. It could be Bengal, it could be any of these states. They will all have to compete, whoever gives the best proposal. We'll have a new NID coming up in East India. We have Ahmedabad with its some campuses. So any of your startups who needs to design your product or improve the design or visual effect or look and feel of the product, maybe we can ask NID to start a program pro bono to help our startups in designing their product better if they need assistance. Incidentally, NID Ahmedabad was probably involved in designing this beautiful Mahindra's e-vehicle that's making waves all over the place, BE or some such, the latest model that Mahindra's has come up. It was a NID graduate who did that. So there's a lot of potential if we start thinking holistically. But I must place on record that we really appreciate Pfizer's effort in this, because with the private sector coming in, it acts as a very good binding glue to the entire initiative, where often the government in its rules and regulations, much as we are trying to deregulate and make things easier, often on being government we have to go through processes. In a private sector, one can have a sense what is good or bad, one can take a faster call and even take a greater risk. So that's why the partnership really helps. And it'll be very, very welcome. I'm told you've already supported 140
so far, but
40 so far.
140 very soon.
Okay, so sorry, I'm goofed up on the number. I'm doubly sorry I didn't say 1,140.
We like to succeed expectations. So give us a target, we'll get there.
Well, I don't want to cause any embarrassment, but why it's important what Pfizer is doing is that will also create a race amongst the medical companies and the big pharma companies to get into this, because all of this people notice also, and this is also good from your perspective of public trust or public awareness about some good work you're doing. So I think the more the merrier. I won't put a target or any limit to it, but one must look at supporting them through the stages also, or getting some pooled capital from venture capitalists, or tie in with maybe the venture capital funds, so that as you seed them to start their work, then there's somebody else to continue to give them support through their journey. At all times, the only one request that I have been most concerned about is that I'm finding very often that our original startup entrepreneurs are left with very little equity at the end of the day. When they're in need of funds, they'll end up at a very low valuation, because it's still not proven to give out a lot of their equity for low amounts of money, and then in the success story they get a very low share to enjoy the fruits of all their hard work. So something that all of us should think about, how we are going to encourage more equity ownership of the founders, of the innovators. Anybody has any issues around IP or trademark or copyright, always welcome to approach our ministry, because that department also is on overdrive to try and innovate and improve its own working. We have a pathway there for startups who apply for any of these patents or any approvals with a 80% discount to normal fees. So it just costs, and that 20% is just kept so that there's no frivolous, paperwork or frivolous people clogging the system. But there's a 80% discount we give on all IP related work for the startups. Huge markets have been opened up with all the trade deals we've done. We now cover as a nation 70% of the global GDP, with market access in most cases at zero duty for your products. Most cases. And most of the developed world today has a free trade agreement with us. All of Europe, the 27-nation EU bloc, 4-nation EFTA bloc, UK, we have Australia and New Zealand, the United States of America. Of course, Japan and Korea were done much earlier. The ASEAN nations were done earlier in 2009-10. Collectively, the world is your market, world is your stage now. And I do wish, with your wonderful work that you're doing, we'll be able to make affordability and last mile delivery India's cutting edge when we go out there to the world. Please don't look only at the domestic market. Look outward, look beyond. Participate in as many fairs and exhibitions as you can and wish to. And we on our part will continue to support our startups in any opportunity that you are interested in. So if you, madam, from health, or you from Atal Innovation, or any of you helps us with more databases of companies who would like to showcase their wares across the world, innovators who've done some very good work, we will also take them into many international fora. We'll take them into CEO forums with other countries. We would like to open the doors as much as we can for all of you. Our missions in 190 plus countries are available for you for whatever help you require. And from our side, our doors are open 24/7. Anytime, reach out if there's anything that we can do. We have a Startup India team working in the ministry. Youngsters, very, very enthusiastic and very, very helpful, I think. That's what is reported to me. Thank you, and I'll just conclude with another very interesting thing the Prime Minister said at the Independence Day address from the Red Fort, and I quote, "To the youth, bring forward your innovative ideas. I stand with you. I am ready to be your partner in this journey." Unquote. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal ji. Sir, we are deeply grateful for your presence and for your continued leadership.
Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and we have Pfizer. So I don't think we can get a better mix of well-meaning organizations and individuals collectively working towards meeting a goal that Prime Minister Modi had articulated very recently at the 10th anniversary of Startup India at Bharat Mandapam. And I quote, "Today's research becomes tomorrow's intellectual property." And in some sense, I think what we saw outside, the little flavor of the work that you all have all done, was truly very, very special and praiseworthy. My compliments to all the startups in this room and beyond, all the 150. Irrespective of the stage of success, the very fact that you had the audacity to explore uncharted waters is very redeeming, is very satisfying, is extremely encouraging for all of us as a nation. My congratulations to all the startups. Some of the stuff we saw outside was truly the need of the hour. I recognize that there's still a social stigma, hesitation in some sections of society to go out there and get a cervical cancer checked done. And from whatever statistical data, a little bit that we could hear just now, it's scary. And now with so much available for one to get cured, it's so important to detect it at an early stage and save lives, save our precious family members. Of course, we are working on it on different tracks. Our free trade agreement will also help you get some of the cancer drugs at much lower prices and make it affordable to get treated, for our women and sisters and mothers to get treated. But that can all happen only after the testing is done. And testing at an affordable price is what I got a sense of outside. Similarly, the digital stethoscope that we saw, I mean, I'm just trying to pick up from some of what we saw there, is quite exciting. And I'd love to tell you a story. It goes back to 2013. Just before I became a minister, while I was still in the private sector like most of you, when a colleague in Parliament, Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, is now the president of the BJP in Kerala, former minister, he insisted I go down and see some innovative and some really path-breaking work happening in Bengaluru. So I went to Cisco, then I went to Narayan Hridale, Dr. Devi Shetty. And what I saw there was completely an eye-opener, something which is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. A amongst other things, and largely focusing on a very basic, simple economic theory of economies of scale, he showed me his ECG setup. And as against quite a large cost that ECG entails, taking an electrocardiogram in a hospital, usually would be about $150 or so at that time, also 100 or 150 bucks. He said it cost me only 1.5 rupee to do that ECG. I was kind of amazed. 13. I said, how do you manage it? And look at the simple elementary thinking behind it. I'm saying it to all the young startups because that's exactly what you are all doing, which makes us proud. He said usually in a hospital the ECG machine works 6 to 8 hours a day. Very slow and steady, patients coming in, all the instruments put in, one ECG taken, takes a long period of time, goes away, then the next guy comes. In a day they do maybe X number of ECGs, and the shift ends, the day ends, the hospital is shut, or that ECG department is shut for the next day. In his hospital, he said it runs 24 hours. All equipment, wherever possible, run 24 hours. At that time, ECG used to be on a butter paper. He said, I don't use butter paper. I use the back of a plain paper, because the butter paper is really just not required. It's for whatever joy it's being used for so long. I don't use that, I just use the back. And he says there's an advantage. The butter paper result gets spoiled after some time. This remains for a long period of time. So his paper cost came down to really zero. He's reusing paper. The productivity was high. There were other elements. I think he was also keeping 6 patients lined up, and they were just going like a factory machine, one after the other, and doing so many more ECGs in a day, cutting down on labor costs, cutting down on technician costs, cutting down on capital equipment depreciation costs, whatever. And that's exactly the sense one gets from the INDovation program of Pfizer. Though I don't know, will it hurt Pfizer's profits in any way?
They will invest in companies.
No, it's on a lighter note. Please don't report it in the media. It's the need of the hour. India is right at the cutting edge of technology today, but it's not going to be possible until the government and private sector both encourage our young or our entrepreneurs. And to my mind, it's very important that we look at innovation supporting India's day-to-day needs, supporting India's real imperatives on the ground. It's important also to showcase what are the success stories, to encourage newer people to come into this field. Otherwise, you'll end up having 1 or 2, 4 stories of people who may not have succeeded in the first instance, becoming a dampener for others. So it's equally important to showcase the success stories. I have urged Startup India, in fact I would urge you from the private sector also, and friends from the media, that we must also continuously encourage those who may not have succeeded in the first instance. Because it's not necessary that you have to hit it right first time around. But failure is not something bad, it's not a stigma. It's only the old cliche, it's only a stepping stone to success. For the young ones in the room, I can say that Abraham Lincoln had failed in everything he did in his life. Everything. At a young age, he was a bad student. He always failed.